Hey folks, this is Jay, Dumpster Diving Life. Well, a little something different today. Today, I find myself in the front of one of my favorite retail centers that I dumpster dive at. This is the one that really started it all for me over a year and a half ago. And it's been pretty fruitful over that year and a half. But I just discovered something that kind of caught me by surprise. You ever heard me talk about that rollaway I was obsessing about behind Bealls? And I said, nothing surprising, because at the end of the year or the beginning of the year, a lot of stores like to get rid of their old promotional material, some of their old display stands and whatnot, and do a little remodeling or a little refurbishing, bringing in some new stuff, getting rid of some of the older stuff. And I thought that's what was going on. I didn't really look into it. Well, I just happened to be driving by the front of the store, and lo and behold, there's Bealls. Well, what's left of Bealls. And I want you to know that store is empty, almost empty as a drum. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to get out of the bright sunlight for one, thank you. And I'm going to show you something here in a minute. But I was going to just show you the store. Hey, there's closed. And I thought, well, I better do a little research. I'm usually on top of this stuff because I do invest. I have investments in a lot of different areas, small investments, but a lot of different areas, and retail stores are one of them. So I try to stay abreast of such things as this. It doesn't really affect my investments much. It doesn't affect me at all. I just kind of let it ride. And it's done me well over the last couple of decades. But I found an article that stated Bealls was going to turn into a Gordmans, Gordmans, Never heard of them. And apparently there's an off-price store, another off-price store, which if you're not familiar with the off-price stores, you can think about some of those TJ Maxx, Ross, a few of them like that, Burlington. That's really what you gotta think about when you hear of a Gordmans, who is apparently converting all Bealls into Gordmans, and apparently they've been doing really well. They don't really compete directly with discount stores. They do a lot of overstocked or end of season demand at the end of the cycle. Seasons are cyclical, so they know they're going to be rolling around, and a lot of these stores are going to be flipping their winter stuff, their spring stuff, their summer stuff, and they buy them up, try to buy as much as they can, and they sell them at discounts. And apparently they've been making good money because their stores are growing. That is this Gordmans. That's going to soon turn all their Bealls into Gordmans. There's another one in this parking lot, very retail center, called DD's Discounts, and I haven't really looked into it. That's the one with the compactor. You hear me always say has a compactor, and I've only found like one or two items in it, and they were both garage sale dumps. So I haven't taken anything out of DD's Discounts. Did learn a few interesting things about DD's. It's also a off-price store. They typically buy overstocked items. I've never been into DD's. I've been into most of these down this way. Some of them I'll talk about here in a minute. But yeah, DD's stands for Deep Discounts. So they compete along with this new store that I wasn't familiar with, Gordmans, and they're not new, by the way. They are owned by Stage Stores. And the Stage is going to be the parent company of Bealls, and Gordmans is going to turn the Bealls into Gordmans. Again, think TJ Maxx, Burlington, Ross stores such as that. So when you see a Gordman's, if you're not familiar, now you know. I wasn't familiar, so now I'll know what kind of store it is without needing to really go inside. But thing that kind of strikes me though is the article said that I found, it was a Texas newspaper article out of I believe Arlington, because a lot of the stores are located in Texas and a lot of them are closing, but they're being converted into Gordman's, and they talked about that, and they spoke about how it take about 2 weeks to convert because they don't really change a whole lot of the merchandise. Once they sell the old merchandise out of Bealls, they just bring in the other stuff, and there it is. They keep the displays, the counters, and whatnot. But this one is a little confusing. So we know it's closed, but there's no other signs indicating that it's going to soon be a Gordman's. And it's been closed. That rollaway's been gone for about a week now. No one has been here, front or back. That dumpster's only been getting filled up by illegal dumps, not by this store. So I don't know how much you can see in here, but yeah, it's empty. So maybe this is one they hadn't planned on opening or converting. I'm not sure. It's really hard to see on this side, but yeah. So it's a little confusing. If they are converting, why aren't they converting? And it only takes 2 weeks. Just kind of surprising. I mean, it doesn't really affect me one way or another, but it's just interesting. This store sat here empty for, gosh, at least 2 weeks, at least a week, maybe 2 weeks, since that rollaway's been gone, and I didn't know it. And here I was still expecting to find stuff. No wonder it's been slow behind the Bealls dumpster. No wonder. So I got to looking and thinking, and what else have I kind of been missing around this retail center? And there's another little conundrum that's been bothering me. I knew the store was here, and it's still here. This one is, it wasn't known to me until they built it here about a year and a half ago in our town. I think it's the first and only one in our town. And that one's called a dirt cheap. And it is right here. You may or may not be familiar with this. It is a standalone store. It is owned by itself. Does not have a parent company. I'm gonna have to come back around because I saw a big old delivery truck coming to the front. I just can't get away from these delivery trucks. So anyhow, I'm not gonna stay here long because they are busy. This is a dirt cheap. So I have yet to find anything from this store. And it is, as you see, next to the Burks, which I pulled out a lot of hangers, a lot. And the next to that is just a nail salon, some staffing company, and some empty office buildings or space. I haven't even seen a compactor for dirt cheap. So I don't know if they're sharing. There's DD's discounts. Remember, DD stands for deep discounts. I thought it stood for dumpster diving, but that's just me. Anyway, I don't get a thing from DD, so I can't say it's for dumpster diving, at least not for me, but I digress. Where do they put their stuff? These guys buy a lot of overstock, a lot of damage, a lot of salvage stuff. If you've never been in one, you should just go in one just to see their pricing system, how they have it. It's really unique, interesting to say the least. I've been in it a couple of times, and I haven't really found anything I could consider really a good deal or a smashing deal. There are some deals in there, but overall, I'm not impressed. But they do have this system where they don't have price tags on the individual items. They have tags on them, but they're number and letter coded, and I believe in some cases color coded. And then you look up on the ceiling and find a sign that correlates with the numbers and the letters on that tag of the item you're interested in, because you're not going to find the price on that item. You're going to have to look at the ceiling, the sign that hangs from the ceiling. And it's really, it's kind of there's a learning curve involved. And you really have to be careful sometimes because some of the discounts are not on the items. The tags are not on the items. They're on the shelves. And so you have to find the shelf with the right discount going from 90% all the way down to 10%, or I should say 10% all the way up to 90%. And some of the shelves could be 75% on top or discounted. The middle shelf could be 50% discounted, and the bottom shelf could be 50% discounted. And some shelves move laterally, so either left or right. It could go 75% to the right, a little farther down, it could be 50%, a little farther down, it could be 25%. Keeping in mind, some folks don't return items to the same shelf from which they get them. So someone may have removed a 75% item off a 75% discounted shelf and put it on a 25% item shelf or discounted shelf, or vice versa. Took a 25% discounted item and put it on a 75% discounted item shelf. You get up to the counter and expect a 75% discount, and it's a 25% discount. Yeah, exactly. So, but anyway, if you don't have one, you should go in anyway. It's really different. They are different. And you can find some deals. Just because I didn't doesn't mean you won't. I'm not trying to knock them and say there's no deals to be had. They're obviously doing something right. They're very popular. Parking lot's full all the time, especially on the weekends. And they're growing from what I read. I can't remember how many stores they have, but they are definitely growing. So they just have a different pricing strategy, just really, really weird. So there's my dilemma. Where is the dumpster or the compactor to that dirt cheap? Going back to that topic, where is that? It drives me nuts. I don't know. So anyhow, okay. I hope you found some of that rambling useful. I did not know Bealls was actually closed. I've been rolling back here for a good while now. And once that rollaway disappeared, I figured they were just back in business as normal. And turns out they're empty. And I'm still poking around hoping to find something. And you know what? I still am, because there's still, illegal dumpers doing this. Garage sale dumpers, whatnot. And so I'm going to look. I have noticed over the last few days, this dumpster hasn't changed. Well, it changed this time because they emptied it. But make sure. It's so bright I can't really see. Yeah, I don't see it. Okay. They finally emptied it. Took that file cabinet away, finally gone. I was so tempted to grab that thing. The rollaway's been gone a while. So Bealls, yeah, I don't know if it's going to be a Gordman's or if it's going to be empty. The kind of conflicting reports there from the article I read and the sign on the front store saying they're closed for business. Well, that's indicative of a store just closed, not closed for remodeling or converting to another store, unless they don't want to announce or even mention that they're related. Gordman's are related to Bealls. I don't know. That way they generate more interest. If folks don't know, I guess they think there's a whole brand new store in town, and everyone who loves shopping and going to new stores flocks to that one, not realizing it was kind of a rebranded Bealls. So, all right, here we are to Burke's. And I forgot, before I do Burke's, remember DD's and Burke's. Remember that. And I've got to go back and see what I'm missing. That dirt cheap store. This has got to be it. And a compactor or something has to be over here. I don't come in this corner because it's a restaurant typically. A lot of these are, most of these are. So maybe that's why I just don't see it. This building here is obviously new compared to this building. So when they added the dirt cheap and remodeled, I'm guessing the compactor is probably inside this building. It has to be, because there's no dumpster. That dumpster belongs to the restaurant right next door. some giant mirrors there. One of them's cracked. I don't know where they came from. I have no clue where they came from. But so this is where Dirt Cheap gets their merchandise, and I suppose that is where they destroy it inside, because there's no dumpsters out here for them at all. I haven't found nothing from Dirt Cheap. So there you go. I guess mystery's kind of solved. That's really interesting because they do buy a lot of salvage, and some of the names of the stores are even still on the products, and they buy from everybody. And I've been tempted to buy a few items, but quite honestly, they have boxes with furniture, whether it be tables, chairs, benches, you name it, that are broken. The items are broken. Something's inside is broken, damaged, salvaged. The same type of stuff I find in the dumpster at Big Lots, or I found in other dumpsters, such as Pier 1. If they have damaged furniture, it goes in the dumpster. But they try to sell it. I guess they get a good discount from it, and they try to sell damaged goods. I had been tempted to buy it, but the way I saw it was they were still asking a pretty good price for damaged goods when I was pulling out the same type of item out of dumpsters for free. So I chose my dumpsters and haven't been back. Again, nothing against Dirt Cheap. It's just interesting observation that, at least from my point, this is some more illegal throwing. Man, that's gross. That is bad. They must have kept this trash for a long time. Whoever finally threw it away. This isn't Burke's, I guarantee you that. Some hangers in there, but this nastiness is on top of them. I'm not touching them. So that's the problem with, make sure this guy's empty. That's the problem with this illegal dumping is, it can get nasty. Some of these folks, I don't know what it is. They keep this trash for weeks on end, I guess. And finally decided to do something with it. And man, that was worse than the middle of the summer. So yeah. And now we are rolling. Here is Harbor Freight employee. He's either hauling this trailer away, or he just been here for a while. So he probably come to get it. So I think I can get out of his way. I don't even know if he's in it or not, but I can get out of his way, and I can or stay out of his way and peek in Dee-Dee's. Speaking of Dee-Dee's, I don't know if you can see from the glare there. There's a little sign up there, and still nothing. One day they're going to surprise me. So yeah, it was really interesting, folks. Really interesting. How the stores kind of come and go, and who owns who. It's really, from an investment standpoint, and just from a individual who's not really involved in that type of enterprise, just interesting. Who owns what and where it all comes from. I don't know if they got a new trash pickup or not, but he's been putting these dumpsters in different places every time he dumps them, and they're getting closer and closer to the wall over here. I don't know if they realize that. So yeah, nothing here, just boxes here. They got employees on the dock, Harbor Freight employees. This is Harbor Freight, by the way, so I don't want to linger too long. Wouldn't mind having some of those zip ties. I wonder how many they're in there. Man, it looks like a whole bag of them broke open. But yeah, too far away, and again, we have employees close by. So I don't want to get too caught up in it. So yeah, it's really interesting, folks. Going back to the stores, I just never realized all this time that Dirt Cheap was here. Well, I knew they were here. I never really questioned where their dumpster was, or where their compactor was. Out of sight, out of mind, as they say. And So it really kind of got me. I just kind of put it out of my mind as well, because I just focused on what was back there. And that was really a surprise to me to know that I've been coming back here all this time and didn't know. Never really questioned where their compactor was, or where their dumpster was, and why I never found anything from them. So good on them, I guess. Well, they know what they're doing. Again, they're a standalone store. They're called Dirt Cheap. They're not owned by anybody. They have their own line. From the article read, they have their own line of merchandise of people they buy from, and they do their own thing. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. It really is. It's an interesting concept. It's an interesting pricing concept, especially. I'm going to bypass the Dollar Tree because there's too many other employees up there. Most of them are Harbor Freight, but I go into the Harbor Freight a lot, so just avoid any stairs. Got the Big Lots, and there you go. And so yeah, it's there's certain things you just know in life, and certain things you don't know. And it was really interesting to me how I just didn't know that they didn't have a compactor outside, and how that kind of escaped my attention. Maybe I'm making too big of an issue out of it, I don't know, but it just shows you sometimes we just don't pay attention. Sometimes, and I hope I'm not boring you folks too bad, but yeah, it's just one of those things. So that was Big Lots. I just poked into back to business, back to the diving. But that was Big Lots, and I did know Big Lots used to be known as another store name. I think it was, I want to say Consolidated Stores or Consolidated something. And they changed, gosh, years ago. I believe it was probably in 2000, maybe 2001, I think. They converted to Big Lots. Gosh, it's been 20 years. They've been around that long. But they also had other stores too. They were all, I think there was McFrugal's. They were McFrugal's. They were, oh man, what were the names? Some of those stores. Odd Lots, I think it was called. And Pick and Save. Pick and Save was the one I was trying to remember. Pick and Save. That was, they were all Big Lots, believe it or not. And they were consolidated. Big Lots was Consolidated something. I can't remember exactly how they called it. But they finally changed just to Big Lots, because there was one, Odd Lots, I think, was kind of getting popular, so they wanted to kind of ride on that popularity. Well, okay, folks, I did go by Lowe's earlier. I had to have a key made. So, of course, I went in the back, and there was just employees and delivery people just swarming the area. Couldn't get near it, but I need some of that lumber that I've looked for, I've told you about. So I'm going to shoot off that way and see what I can find, and then wrap it up, because I've got to go home and get dinner going early for. Well, folks, I looked down and the camera had stopped, so I'm not sure how far I had gotten. I believe I didn't lose anything, and I was leaving. So the Lowe's right next door over here is still busy. So I just thought I'd come over and shoot over to the mystery dumpster, and then shoot behind the rest of these stores. But my phone is about to die. I didn't realize. That's why it stopped to begin with. Is it flashed the little low battery sign at me, and it stopped the recording. But I believe I was just about to end it anyway. That's why I looked down at it. But in case I didn't, I was just going over some of the changes that's coming to that plaza, with the Bealls closed and now going to possibly be a Gordman's, and couldn't find. I kind of recapped the fact that I never realized that. I'm going to skip the restaurant was here today too. I couldn't find, never even really thought of Dirt Cheap's dumpster and or compactor until I rolled around the front and saw Bealls empty. So I thought, then it started kind of making me wonder. So okay, that's Aaron's, and it looked empty, and they had a delivery driver right behind them anyway. So I'm gonna go ahead and end it here because I'm pretty sure I'm about to run out of battery, and I like to have my videos to have an ending. So there you go, guys. Hope I didn't bore you too much. Didn't get a thing from the dumpsters, but we'll end it here. I hope you learned a little bit about the history of Bealls and the future of Bealls and whoever else, and what Dirt Cheap is and how their pricing is crazy, and maybe go check them out. If you do, let me know. Again, I have a email. Finally got an email, j@dumpsterdivinglife.com. j@dumpsterdivinglife.com. Please, guys, remember, subscribe, comment, share. I like it all, good or bad. I can take it. I'm thick-skinned. Let me know if you do it. I love the comments. I got a couple about the letting me know that I should have taken the souped items at Ulta. So thank you, folks, for letting me know. Next time I will, and I'll do my best to wash them up and show you what I get. This is why I do it. Y'all, I help y'all. Y'all help me just as much as I help you. So I enjoy it. Keep it up. Again, please like, subscribe, share, comment. Till then, you know the routine. Always wear your gloves. Keep what you need, sell what you must, and give what you can. Keep on diving.